Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Now today on the show, I'm speaking with the amazing Mr. Jack Canfield. Hi Jack, how are you?
Hi Natalie, I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. Now you hardly need an introduction. As most people know, you are one of the forces behind the Chicken Soup for the Soul book series. You also run the Train the Trainer events. Also the author of the Success Principles, which I know is in its second run now.
Well, it's in its 10th anniversary edition. I think we've had 45 printings.
Yeah, wow. And what I love about this second version of that is that you have a lot of the stories of the people that read the original book who are now, who are living the principles and how that's made an effect on their life. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're actually talking about your new book that's come out, which is called the 30-Day Sobriety Solution, which is interesting. So tell me a little bit about what was the motivation behind writing a book like this?
Well, there were two motivations. One is one of my students, who I didn't even know was a student, was applying my work in his sobriety coaching, Dave Andrews, the co-author. And so he was he was relapsed, I think, 3 times. And he finally listened to a Tony Robbins tape and said, why aren't they teaching this in rehab? And he said, there's all this wonderful human potential stuff like what you and I teach, and it wasn't in the rehab world. So he started putting that together with my work from the Success Principles and some other people's work, EFT and so forth. And he created this coaching program that was getting about an 80% success rate compared to 30% with rehab and somewhere between 10 and 20% with AA. And so he was telling me about that. And I said, Dave, this program is amazing. You have to do a book. And he said, well, no one will read my book. They don't know who I am. I said, well, they know who I am. Let's do it together. And what motivated me to want to do that is I've had 2 children that went through alcohol and drug problems as kids. And then my mother and father were both alcoholics. So I said, I'm motivated to want to get this out there to help people, have healthier, happier, more fulfilling lives and avoid the pain that all these other people in my life had experienced.
Right. And when we're talking about the sobriety solution, so who are the people that would read this book? Are they people who, are alcoholics or have a problem? Or, who are the people that can really benefit from this?
Well, here's the deal. Not everyone's an alcoholic who has an excessive drinking challenge. In fact, only about 2 people that drink excessively. And we now know that 1 out of every 3 Americans has a drinking problem, whether it's binge drinking on the weekend or the glass of wine that turns into half a bottle of wine, often a whole bottle of wine at dinner every night, the drinking alone, the wine time that a lot of people talk about, is that only maybe 2 out of 10 of those really have an alcoholic gene. The rest of the people are not alcoholics. And so the subtitle of our book is How to Cut Back or Quit Drinking in the Privacy of Your Own Home. So if you don't want to go to AA and you don't want to go to rehab, and you don't really need to because you just want to cut back, I've done this. My staff and I agreed to do a 30-day non-drinking challenge. And so other than 1 drink of alcohol I had about a week ago at a friend's birthday party, I have not had a glass of wine or a drink for 30 days. I've lost 20 pounds. I feel better. My joints don't hurt. I wake up happier in the morning. And I thought it would be a lot harder than it was because I'm just a social drinker. But the fact is, I just feel so much better. So we're really challenging everyone now. Go 30 days without drinking. And there's some research from England that says if you go 30 days without drinking, even if you do it once a year, what happens is I find out I don't want to drink as much, number 1. Number 2, all the research says your liver gets a rest, your kidneys get a rest, your brain gets a rest, and so forth. Now, there are those 2 out of 10 people who are alcoholics, and they do need to totally cut back, and quit, totally. And so our program, which is 30 specific days of activities that teach you how to replace alcohol with something more fulfilling, it works for, as I said, 80% of the people that have tried it have had tremendous success.
Because that's the thing, I think it's difficult. I mean, you look at, I don't know if you watch a lot of TV, but when I'm watching TV, on all the shows, in all the movies, it's glamorized that people drink wine at dinner every night. So it's kind of like it's okay, this is the norm. This is what we all do. But then, like you said, we fall into the pattern of drinking every day. That 1 glass turns into half a bottle, which turns into a bottle. And I'm sure that there's many people that are watching this video that can relate to that. But the surprising thing is how much different you feel when you actually give up. Like when you had that space. I mean, I've actually had some little viral infection, and other than our little Costa Rica trip the other week, I actually haven't been drinking either because of the sickness. But I've already gone down a notch on my belt, and it's amazing with that as well. So is it just a thing of being able to replace it with something else?
Well, here's the deal. First of all, alcohol is a sugar. And whenever you eat sugar, you're destroying cells in your brain, and and then the other thing that happens with alcohol for me, if I have wine with dinner, then I eat more than I should. I order dessert when I shouldn't. So it takes away the willpower. There's a new thing called decision fatigue that psychologists talk about, which is as the day gets further on, it's harder and harder to make good decisions. So by the time you get home at night, your willpower is down to the level you go, well, what the hell, it's just a glass of wine. And so what we're doing is saying, let's replace happy hour with a happier hour. What if we could do things like meditate, do yoga, do a hobby, pet our cat, go for a walk, go to a class, call up friends and talk about something meaningful instead of sit alone and feel sorry for yourself. There are ways to de-stress from the day that are much healthier and actually relax the body, lower the cortisol levels in the brain, which is a stress hormone. And so we give people 101 different activities that you can do in the evening. That's not the core of the program, but we have one thing, it's called Replace Happy Hour. The other thing about this program, most people associate drinking with pleasure. Well, when I drink, stress goes down, I feel happy, I dance more, I'm more social. We have a poster in the book that says, "Dear wine, we had a deal. You were supposed to make me sexier, a better dancer, more sociable, smarter. I saw the video. We need to talk." And so basically, when people come home, they're associating the alcohol with pleasure. Well, actually, alcohol creates more pain in the long run. Lack of money, getting fired from jobs, being hungover. Sex is actually not as good when you drink. Often we do unsafe sex if we're drunk, etc. So we use an NLP technique where we ask you to think out 5 years in the future, if you don't stop drinking, what it's going to look like. 5 years in the future, if you stop drinking or cut back, what would that look like? And so we start associating drinking with pleasure, feeling better, and drinking with the pain rather, and not drinking with pleasure. Because willpower alone, most people think, well, I just have to have willpower. But think of this metaphor, Natalie. If I'm on a boat and I'm going east, and that's the automatic pilot, and then what I do is I turn it west. And for an hour and a half, I go west. But now my arm is tired because I'm holding it there. I let go. The automatic pilot takes over, and I go back to going east again. And so what we have to do is reprogram the subconscious mind. And all through this book, we have techniques like forgiving people, tapping so you can get rid of the cravings, get rid of the original anxiety and pain that makes you want to drink, deal with the traumas that you may have experienced in childhood you're trying to numb out because those feelings come up. So there's a lot of little techniques that it's sequenced day after day after day. So by the end of the 30 days, you're at a place where you go, I don't really want to drink as much anymore or at all.
Yeah. I relate to all of that. Back towards the end of my marriage, I realized I was drinking every day because I was unhappy, but I didn't want to face it. So I was using it to numb out, so I didn't have to think about it. But even some of the tools that you described, like if I had to replace that with meditation, then maybe I could have seen a solution to the situation I was in. Maybe I could have, handled that a whole lot better than I did. And I know that when we separated, 20 pounds, I dropped 20 pounds in 3 weeks because I'm like, you know what, I need to get clear about how I'm going to show up now and how to navigate through this situation. And it completely fell off. And you're right, because it's like this vicious cycle. We drink to either feel better or to numb out or to do whatever. But then we don't feel good about ourselves. We feel terrible the next day. We can't handle things. We put on weight, and then there's this whole vicious cycle that keeps going on.
And then you feel guilty and you feel ashamed, so you drink to numb out the shame and the guilt. And then why did they create something called a screwdriver in the morning, orange juice and vodka? Because you're going to get rid of the hangover, So you're drinking more to get rid of the thing that you don't want to be experiencing in the first place. It just becomes a vicious downward cycle. I think the main thing is there's so many more things you can do that none of us were taught growing up, like meditation, like yoga, like reaching out to people, like having authentic, real conversations, which so many of us are afraid of, like asking people for what you want and need, getting a massage, sitting in a hot tub, playing a sport, playing a guitar. I mean, there's so many things you could learn to do. Learn a language. I've been learning Spanish, and in the process, I get excited. I walk away from the computer kind of buzzed because I know, 5 new words or how to conjugate a verb.
Yeah. And and that's also helping our brains as well, and keeping us young and keeping us sharp.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So so I know that we're talking about not just giving up altogether, but cutting back.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, what are the type of people that, when we talk about cutting back, what do you mean by that?
Well, we ask people during the program to actually go 30 days without drinking.
Right.
To see if you can do that.
Yeah.
And we find that if you're a real alcoholic and you have that drink at the end of 30 days, you'll know it because you can't stop. People drink until they pass out or throw up, or people say you got to stop. But if you can have that one drink and stop, or have 2 drinks and stop, then great. And drink socially. But we've got people that are binge drinking on the weekends until they pass out, and so forth. So it's literally, for me, I'm someone who can cut back. I've gone, when my wife was pregnant, she didn't want to drink, and so basically I said, I'm going to support you by not drinking as well. I went 9 months without a drink, so I know I can do that. Do I prefer a drink every once in a while socially? Excuse me. Yeah, I do. So I can do that. But a lot of people, my 2 children who are alcoholic, they can't do that. The gene hit them, or whatever you want to call it. So basically, I think you got to kind of ease back into it at the end. But if you can't go 30 days without a drink, then you probably are an alcoholic. The problem is you can't tell people you got to quit totally, because they go, I can't imagine my life without a drink. I can't imagine having any fun anymore. I can't imagine what my friends will say about me. What do I do when they offer me a drink? So basically, what people are finding is they can survive that, and by the end of the 30 days, they have all these new tools for staying sober, keeping sober, enjoying being sober that they didn't have before. Yeah. Patty Aubrey, who you and I know, she's the president of my company and a friend of yours. We've both been doing this 30-day solution and not drinking, just as a support of all our staff and our clients. And, we both lost weight. I've lost 3 inches from my waist. I feel so dynamic. My wife says, you look so much better. My young staff says, hey, you're looking kind of hot. And I'm 71 years old, So it's a health move, if nothing else. And I think, Natalie, because you teach this, we all want to grow both spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, relationally, and it's just so much easier when we can focus on that an hour a day instead of drinking for an hour a day, and then we have no inspiration to do anything at the end of the day after we've had a half a bottle of wine with dinner.
Yeah, and and what you're really offering with this book is a plan.
It's a plan. It's a program.
It's hard when you have, I'm sure you understand, with a lot of people, we have triggers. For me, it used to be just 5 o'clock. Right. 5 o'clock was a trigger, all right, which I used to call wine o'clock. And for me, what I would do is especially if I was on I had a health target, I would play my mind movie at 4:45. Which would remind me that that's right, this is the goal weight I'm getting to, I'm going to look fabulous, this is why I'm doing it, this is how amazing my life will be. But what you're doing is also, rather than just pure willpower, you're giving specific tools, because that's the thing, like you said before, giving up for 30 days is great, but when you're just waiting for day 30 to come so you can have a drink, then what we've done is really defeated the purpose, because we want to Right. You want to create a life where they can see what it's like without that and have the tools moving forward.
Well, I thought I was looking forward to day 30 to have a drink again, and quite frankly, now I'm not. It changes. See, what we're saying, every day, there's 30 days, 30 chapters in this book, and every day is a lesson. And if you spend your happy hour doing the lesson, which takes about 40 minutes to an hour to do, they're guided visualizations. We have a companion website that's free. And people can go to that companion website and listen to the audio tapes of the meditations, be guided through a guided visualization, hear interviews with other people who are sober, etc. And so if you do that every day, you've gotten through that 5 or 6 o'clock. Remember that song, It's Got to Be 5 o'clock somewhere?
Yeah.
And so the idea is you've gotten through that difficult time, and you feel so good by the end of that hour because you've forgiven yourself or someone else, you've tapped on your anxiety, whatever it might be, so that by then you're over the hump. And then you go into your evening excited. I'll just give you an example. We have a website I mentioned, and people have a chat community there. And one of the people just wrote last Friday. They said, Friday's my get drunk night with my friends and pizza and all that. I went home to my family. I said, let's watch a movie tonight. And they said, well, we've got to go get a pizza. I went to the store to buy some frozen pizzas. I had to go through the alcohol aisle. Normally I would have picked up two 6-packs. I didn't feel like it. I came home. I was with my family. I went to bed sober. I woke up hungover. This is exciting. And they said, not in a million years would I thought I could have done that.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, it's not just the tools and everything, but you're also supplying the support and the community as well.
Yes.
Which is exactly what we need. Jack, thank you so much for joining me today. I knew that this time would go very quickly.
I'm going to hold my book up so everybody can see it just for fun.
30-day sobriety. So, guys, if you're watching this video online, just click to the banner to the side. If you're watching it on the app, make sure you click on the banner underneath there. It'll go straight through to Jack's website. You'll find out how you can get your hands on the book, how you can join the community, and challenge yourself to 30 days. And I know from personal experience, and as Jack has just said as well, it's amazing that when you finally get to that point, how much difference it makes to physically, mentally, spiritually, to your whole being. So I really encourage you to do that. And I'm actually going to do the 30-day challenge myself as well. Patty and I were talking about that. So I'm going to do something with our community where we can challenge everyone to do that too.
Very good. We're going to do a national 30-day challenge starting March 1st, so you all can be part of that if you want.
Yep. Perfect. I'm going to be there as well. So guys, thanks again, Jack, for joining me.
You're so welcome.
And guys, if you're watching the video, I encourage you to share this video. Please, let's get the word out there. And you can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you leave your email so we can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course, and click on the banners to go through to Jack's website so that you can get your hands in the book and join that community. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.